Hello, this is One Lovely Creation. Thank you for joining me for episode 5 of Imagine That, an adult storytelling show. Today we pick up at chapter 8 of Zane Pleasure Extraordinaire, part 1 by Liv Bennett. Chapter 8, The Reminder. I asked Danny to drive me to Julie's home, hoping to find her there so she can explain to me what the hell went wrong with the woman she picked out for me. Julie frowns when she opens the door and finds out it's no other than me, her boss, bothering her late in the night. Sorry to disturb you at this hour. Can I come in? I ask. She rolls her eyes at me with a questioning look and adjusts the belt of her green robe as she lets me in. One moment, you guys. I'm going to make sure my notifications are turned off so we're not hearing that silly chime every few minutes. Okay. All right. I come close to letting my eyes run down below her hips to see if she's wearing any pants beneath her robe, but hurry inside to shake away such inappropriate thoughts. I don't have a single idea of what's wrong with me. The more women I fuck, the more I want, it seems. It's not completely wrong. After all, it's a biological response. But I shouldn't allow any sexual thoughts about Julie to contaminate my mind and ruin a perfectly good friendship. Oblivious to my momentary distraction, Julie curls up on an armchair and pulls the hem of her robe over her legs, covering everything till her ankles. Good girl. I get myself comfortable on the large couch and fill her in on the details of my date, including the part where Felicia eagerly swallowed my cock. So what if she blew you? She must have been thinking that's the standard treatment you get from women, and she didn't want to fall behind in the race. Julie defends Felicia. What race? All I could think of afterwards was trying to calculate how many other men she must have sucked off. You, of all men, have to wonder that. She rolls her eyes, rightly so. But that's what it is, and I can't change my taste. It's really disappointing. She was so sweet at first. I was impressed by her kindness and generosity to the people in need. Well, she's generous for sure, for helping out with your load on your first date. Julie points out with a giggle. Ignoring her comment, I continue my pouting. The whole conversation about me getting married was about finding the right girl, and I'll risk sounding like an asshole, but a girl who has a lot of men in her life makes me suspicious of her loyalty to me. I don't want to be cheated on a few years down the road. Does that make sense? She shakes her head. The same logic applies to you. You've had with thousands of women in your life? So that makes you prone to cheat too, doesn't it? No, not necessarily. When I make a decision, I follow through with it. If I decide to commit to a girl, I won't stray. But I must be absolutely sure of loyalty for that to happen. Any single doubt, even temporary, will ruin it for me. She takes in a long breath of air, giving her head another disapproving shake. I don't get it. That's okay. I must say I was impressed by her until the last minute. I even thought she could easily win my heart and turn me into a happy puppy, but she blew it. What comes now? She asks. Do you still want to continue dating? I have 19 other candidates I thought you might like. Sure. The worst case scenario, I'll get my nuts rocked off by 19 other women. You know you're talking to a girl, right? She winces and gets to her feet, her arms tightly crossed across her chest. Yeah, kind of. I'm very sorry. I'll cut the bullshit. I look around the living room, not wanting to leave soon. If I go back to my home, I'll probably find an excuse to drink. Do you want to watch a movie together? We can order pizza too. Her face beams instantly, and she smiles. I'd love that. I bought He's Just Not That Into You last month and never got around to watching it. I almost start rolling my eyes in boredom, but I restrain myself and nod sheepishly. Just kidding, she says and laughs. I have Ender's Game, Thor, and Pacific Rim. Which one do you want? Wow, really? All sound good. You pick. Let's start with Thor. We can change to something else if it gets boring. She stands up and on her way to the DVD player, trips on a chair leg and falls on her butt. Her elbow hits the floor and she groans in pain. Shouldn't you have figured out this whole walking thing by now? I joke as I run to help her up, but stop cold in my tracks when I notice her silky white thighs exposed under her robe. Her skin looks soft and smooth, and my fingers twitch to run along the perfect smoothness. Her crimson cheeks catch my attention, and I realize my indiscreet gazing. She quickly covers herself, pushes up to her feet, and casually walks to the DVD player to start the movie. All the while, I gaze at her, paralyzed and speechless. Perhaps to escape the intense air in the room, she goes to the kitchen to order pizza and Coke. As my mind fights to erase the image of her bare legs, I find myself settling back into the couch. When the movie starts, she settles next to me on the couch, pulling a blanket over her. How come you never go out on dates? I ask. She frowns, looking insulted by my question. I do go out on dates. I mean, with someone other than yourself. I joke with a laugh, while she picks up a cushion and throws it at me. I catch it and tuck it beneath my arm, still curious about her answer. When was the last time you let a man take you out? She fixes her eyes on the ceiling, thinking. I had lunch with Tony from accounting last month, but nothing came of it. We have very different expectations out of life. Is that it? And I think he wanted me to put in a good word for him. She smiles, but I can hear the hurt hidden in her words. Oh, it must be hard to be a woman in a high position. I'm just a secretary. It hardly counts as a high position. You're not just a secretary. You're more than that. You're my right hand. I wouldn't be where I am today without your help. I'm well aware of the difficulties you've had, and I appreciate everything you've done and continue to do for me. Gee, Zane, did Felicia run some kind of exorcism on you and chase away the demon inside you without you realizing it? Ha ha. I reach out and ruffle her hair, which is loose around her shoulders. Remind me to fire Tony the first thing Monday. I have no patience with suck-ups who try to use women to climb up the hierarchy. You don't have to fire him on my account. He's good at what he does. I'll probably not fire him right away, but I'll have my eye on him and in his contract on his first failure. Disrespecting someone important to me is a no-go in my book, but I don't need to explain myself to Julie. She should know me by now. Plus, I don't want to ruin the movie for her. Our pizza arrives and we eat it from the box without bothering to get plates. I drink Coke right out of the bottle too and offer it to Julie. She takes it from my hand and gulps it down, then quickly realizes her mistake. Ew, does that mean I kissed Felicia by drinking from the same bottle as you? I laugh and grab the bottle out of her hands. Did you kiss her on the lips after the deed? She asks, her eyes narrowed. I blink, trying to understand her question. Then the bulb lights up. She's asking if the bottle has any residual from my release. If I had kissed Felicia after she blew me, I'd have a taste of my sperm in my mouth and have passed it on to Julie with the bottle of Coke. The idea of smearing Julie's lips with my seed is a turn-on that I have no way to act upon, so I quickly shake my head. No, I didn't. She looks away without saying a word, but never again touches the bottle throughout the movie. I assume she finds promiscuous men not charming. Somehow, the thought settles into my stomach like a heavy rock. I put down the pizza slice and pretend to watch the movie while all I'm doing is stealing sideways glances at the concentrated expression on her face. If I want a solid, stable person as a partner, I should become one before anything else. Maybe it's karma that presents me with women who take sex-related matters lightly. After all, isn't what you give what you get? At the end of the movie, I start to get up but notice Julie is asleep, her mouth slightly open and saliva dripping from the corner of her lip. I smile in amusement. Her head is uncomfortably positioned against the back of the couch, and she'll probably wake up with a neck ache from that position. I consider leaving her that way, but the idea of her being in pain isn't something I can lightly overlook. So I call her name to wake her. Rather than waking up, she lets out a loud snore. Her face looks hilarious from that angle, so I keep watching her for a minute, then decide to carry her to her bedroom. She continues sleeping despite the movement when I slip my arm beneath her body and lift her up. She's feather light, but the way she sprawls across the tiny space in my arms with her legs completely exposed makes for an awkward moment as I carry her into her bedroom. Carefully, I lay her on her bed and tuck her under the comforter. Her hair falls over her face as her head hits the pillow. Tenderly, I push away the thick strands, unable to take my eyes away from the breathtaking beauty of her relaxed features. This isn't lust or physical attraction. This is like watching her inner being, her true self, flash across her face without worry or anger creasing her smooth skin. Her beauty is both calming and purifying. Suddenly, the feeling of guilt for secretly admiring her tightens my chest. I'm no different than the men who took advantage of her and forced her into dirty sexual acts. She wasn't consenting then, and she's not consenting to my inappropriate admiration now. If awake, there's no way in hell she'd let me in her bedroom to start with. Quickly, I move away from her bed, not wanting to trespass in her personal space any more than I already have, and start to walk out of her bedroom. Just then, a picture on her nightstand grabs my attention and stops me in my tracks. It's a picture of her with my mother in the garden of our home at the time. I hold the picture, lifting it up close to my face to see the details. In the background, I'm sitting at a table with Ace and Chloe, playing cards and eating cake. I remember the day. How could I have forgotten it? It was Mom's last birthday, 3 months before she took her life and left us defenseless in Michael's maniacal hands. Melancholy and sadness flood my chest. I miss her, her loving hugs, tender voice, even her constant worry over us, her children. But in this picture, she's staring at the camera with a carefree grin. I can hear my heart cracking in two with pain. She could have lived. She'd finally have had a chance to be truly happy after Michael's death. Why didn't she push through the harsh days and stay with us? I wish I'd noticed the change in her behavior in those last days before she took the plunge and ended her life. I wish I could have stopped her. A sob pushes up my throat, and I hurriedly set the photo back on the nightstand and rush out of Julie's bedroom. As I approach the front door of her apartment, I realize I have a problem. The door locks only from the inside, and if I head out and only pull the door behind me, it'll just close without locking. This is L.A. In L.A., no residence is safe, if not securely locked. I can look for and find the key to the door, but I'll be locking Julie in her own house. She's screwed if she doesn't have a second key. Letting out a loud sigh, I push the door closed, turn the lock down, and throw myself on the couch in the living room. I'll have to spend the night on the couch, whether Julie likes my presence in her place or not. Chapter 9. The Breakfast. Since I'll be playing Julie's bodyguard for the night, I might as well enjoy my stay at her place. For me to enjoy myself, I'll need liquor, or else I won't be able to blink an eye tonight with the thought of my mother weighing me down. I search for anything with alcohol in it and only find a half-finished bottle of red wine in the fridge. I gulp the whole damn thing down standing by the fridge and throw the empty bottle in the recycle bin. Everything is clean and neatly organized in Julie's kitchen, including her recycle bin, and I know for a fact she's not the kind of woman to spend her hard-earned money on house aides or housemaids.